A subscriber recently left a comment on a video asking me to create a video in which I explain to people that just because a book is graded doesn't mean it's worth substantially more than a raw version of that same comic. Well, this is a response to that inquiry, but unfortunately, I don't think that the answer that I'm going to give is what this person was looking for. Stay tuned. Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. In this video, we are going to respond to this inquiry that was left on a previous video in which this person wanted me to explain to folks that graded books aren't substantially worth more than raw books. And unfortunately, I can't create that video because it's simply not true. There is a reason why graded books tend to go for more money than a raw version. And part of it simply comes from the fact that that graded book has been de-risked. Now, we can take a step back from the hobby of comics and we can look at other things that exist for rationales that prove to be true when you think about certification. If you want to get a certified fitness instructor, that certified fitness instructor will cost you more than your buddy who works out in his garage. That certified fitness instructor has gone to some courses, taken some classes, taken a test, and proven that they know what they're doing. And it's not, I believe, they know because they've actually passed the test. They meet a standard. If you are talking about a school or a teacher, there is certification and accreditation that comes along with certain schools, and you are going to pay for that because that institution, that teacher, they meet a standard. They've taken the test, they've passed everything that they need to pass in order to get that certification. The same can be said for cars. If you want a good car, you might want to get a certified pre-owned car versus buying one from the car lot that's down the street. That certified pre-owned car that passed that 100, 200 point inspection is going to cost you more money. There is no doubt. If you want to buy a diamond or a piece of jewelry, you might go with GIA. You are going to pay more for a GIA certified diamond than a diamond that you could buy at a pawn shop. All of these things that are certified are going to cost you more money because there is a standard there. There is some assurance there. If something goes wrong with that car, you have an ability to go back to that dealer to force them to make it right. If you buy a diamond, GIA certified, and that diamond proves to be an engineered diamond, you can take that jewelry store to court. You can force them to make it right. That is essentially what you are buying. One of the points that this person made in their comment was that an accurately graded raw book should be priced at the same price as a slab book minus the cost of grading and shipping. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work that way. It's a nice thought, but that is not how this works. And it's the first part of this that we have to really examine. An accurately graded raw book, that in and of itself is a big thing. And I say that because if you've gone into a comic shop, you've probably seen on the wall some pricey books, and they'll have the price right on the front. Sometimes on the back side, they will give you a grade and maybe even disclose a defect or two. How good are their grading skills? It's unknown how good their grading skills are. And I can tell you for a fact that sometimes when comic shops price books, they price them and grade them for what they need to sell that book for or want to sell that book for. They're not necessarily grading the book maybe as fairly as they should and then assigning a value based upon the grade. They bought the book for X, they want to sell it for Y. They thus grade it this way so that they can price it this way so that they can actually make some money. That might be how that comic shop operates. I don't know. How many times have you been online and you've seen a near mint book that has a crazy amount of defects? It is essentially the same thing. Now, if you have the ability to get your hands on the book, that is completely different. You potentially have the ability to examine that book yourself, and maybe you have the expertise to identify trimming and color touch and replace staples and whether pieces have been added. You have the ability to count the pages and feel the texture of the book to know that what you're buying is authentic. Maybe you have those skills, and if you do, going and buying raw books isn't as big of a risk. Now, I can tell you, as someone that buys a lot of books or has bought a lot of books online where I don't have the ability to get that book in my hands and examine it for myself, getting a graded slab essentially de-risks my purchase. A lot of the risk has been taken away from making that purchase remotely because the book already has a grade and a label applied to it. The defects are being disclosed literally on the label, right? The defects are there, the grade is there, the color is there, you have the grader's notes, and that tells you exactly what is going on with that book. That is the assurance that you are actually buying, and you have the ability to then go and look that book up in a pricing service to figure out what is the price that you should actually be paying for that comic. But this ability to have a purchase be de-risked is a major reason why people are able to buy, sell, and transact with comics as easily as they are right now. Not everyone has the expertise or the desire to actually grade comics. Not everyone has the ability to have that expertise to get their hands on the book to be able to make the purchase. So by buying books that are already graded, it allows more people, I think, to participate, to take a chance, if you will, because they have essentially outsourced that certification, that verification to the third-party grading company. And again, that is what you are buying, and that's why it's not simply the cost of grading plus shipping is what it's worth. Again, it just doesn't work that way. With that said, I'm going to wrap this video up. I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I definitely want to encourage you to leave your thoughts below, give the video a thumbs up, and if you need to reach out to me, feel free to do that on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care. If you haven't already done so, I want to invite you to check out a quality publication that I am releasing called Isolation. Our issue 4 is available right now as a Kickstarter on SWOLDIERpublishing.com. Link in the description.
This thing on? Mic check. I just want to make sure y'all can hear me clearly. Yo, should you practice art? Or should art be your practice? I had a question, so I asked it. Not to anyone specifically, but to my inner God, you know? The one that's gonna be a master, the one that's more than a rapper, the one that's an educator, the one that seeks enlightenment. He travels with concepts, he's got the mindset expansive. He understands that his time combined with travel and concepts makes his mind convex. Sort of like when you look at a brain scan, straight off meditation, we was concaving until we had that eternal dialogue that created our dialect. Now we in distinct rooms with pure souls having them conversations, synergy and combinations. You fly and we waiting, Indian style in the gold.